Hello and welcome. I am stealing the intro, and there's nothing Stephen can do about it.
Too busy raving.
And you're listening to Let's Drone Out. If you don't want to listen to this, Zoe FPV is doing a live stream. Go there. Numbskull post the link. And tonight we are joined by everyone's favourite Cory Kitten.
Hello. Ho, ho, ho.
Everyone's festive jumper, Frank.
Hello.
How's the new job going, Stephen?
Ho, ho, ho.
My darling wife.
Ah, humbug.
Good job, love. And we always got a large sack for me, Cole. My
I got a
lights
lump
just
of.
went out.
I'm gonna get a lump of myself this year.
Yep. And I am bright till I fly.
Hopefully
In the
benign.
dark.
Isn't that called a hernia? Okay. So festive.
I
Yes.
finished the LED tree.
Well,
Very
Feeling very
glowy.
festive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
The only problem is the green LEDs I got are a putrid green and they're horrible. So if anyone knows of any decent 3mm LED, let me know.
Are you going to
The
strap
ones
it to
I've
your head?
got-
Is this a hat tree? What's it going to be?
Happy Christmas.
Yeah. Have a little string around it. There you go.
Yeah, just
Oh,
a bit
wait,
of
wait,
elastic
wait.
and
Hold on.
you'd be
Wait a
go.
minute. Wait a minute.
Absolutely nailed it.
Someone screenshot
Festive.
that.
Yeah.
Yeti with a tree on his head. You know, actually hiding.
He's actually pretty good at balancing it. Look, he's just got that locked in.
It's
Cool.
the
Gotta be good at
three nickel metal hydride cells that are a good weight that's keeping it.
No, it's
Keeping
not.
it
It's
down.
your Nithand hole. I can't even say it. Head shape.
And Tony's the
No, Sherry,
Tony's
please.
the missing link.
The real trick is to leave it on the whole show like that, Jack.
No, I got a neck ache.
Tailspin says Jack's PIDs are locked in.
Yep.
Thanks, Tailspin.
He controls the horizontal. And
You're on the Christmas card list. I just don't know whether to go with all
Caroline
white.
Tyler, on the
top
other hand,
LED.
suggests that it's not balanced, but in fact stapled.
You're off the Christmas card list.
I like it, Jack.
Speaking of all things that light up, me, the wifey, Tony, and Menace, we're going to saw the drone light show.
You guys were lighting up?
Yeah.
No, that's only legal in Canada.
In France.
Yeah. Yeah, because I went and saw the drone light show at Alexandra Palace back in November for Bonfire Night and was like, mind blown, this is amazing. And then saw that they were going to do a Christmas Carol one literally round the back of Jack's. Like,
Oh, really? Nice.
like walking distance from Jack's place. So I'm like, Jack, we have to go see this because I just saw a drone show and that was great. We should
Yeah.
go see this one.
And sometimes they fall out the sky. Free drones.
I don't think any fell down.
No,
Not
didn't
that
see
I
it.
noticed.
Not
no.
that you saw. Well, they turn the lights off. I think if they're falling in the middle of the night with the lights off, how are you going to notice, eh?
That is
If
a
a drone
fair
Well,
falls
point.
even
out
with the
alive.
lights off, they had a slight glow, didn't they?
An orangey glow.
Mm.
It's the uranium in them, yeah. But yeah, so saw that, bought the tickets, and I think we mentioned it on the show a few weeks ago. Tony was like, I want to come along. I sorted out tickets for Tony, and then Menace came along as well, yeah. And that's not a short drive for Menace. That is quite a way.
Yeah, it was quite a while.
3
done.
hours.
Wow.
Mm. So yeah, so we
How many
went
drones do you
to.
reckon they had in the air at one time?
We know.
Mm.
We counted.
I can show you sort of what greeted us when we got to this cricket ground. Yeah, so you can maybe just about see in the distance there 3 little grids.
Tony's mum in front of us. Barbara.
Yeah, how many was it? I can't remember in the end. It's like
180, wasn't it? Or was it 100?
yeah.
Because they
150,
took off in
200,
groups of
something like that.
20.
There
Wow.
you
So
go.
they had the whole lot.
There they go.
Yeah, they had the whole lot spread out on the floor, but they
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
180 went up, done.
For our audio listeners, they're going up in stacks every couple of seconds. So you get these kind of lines ascending into the sky.
It is interesting because they seem to make a little trail, I guess, because the camera shutter speed was set low.
Yeah,
to begin
yeah,
with.
I think so. But yeah, so they sort of ended up, like you say, in these 3 groups that took off individually, and they because the whole show lasted like 40 minutes, and each group can only last like 10-12 minutes. So they sort of would take up one, and that would do a display for the first sort of act of the show.
Oh, right. So they replace them like in obvious sets. They don't just kind of drop one.
Very
in and out.
obvious sets.
Okay.
Very obvious sets. Yeah.
I kind of assumed they'd just wait, and when the battery level got below a certain point, it'd sort of switch its light off, drop out the display, and get replaced by another one with full battery. Because that's what I've seen previously in the very large
I think
displays.
you're giving
They've got hundreds. in there
Too
at a
much
time.
intelligence.
Yeah.
My understanding of these is that they're not like aware of anything. They just do their own thing, don't they? So that it's not like I'm here and I know the other drones are here. It's just
Well,
like
I
I'm
think this
doing
is
my
where
thing.
this is where there is a split in these systems, where up to like a couple of hundred, you can kind of manage them all relatively traditionally, and maybe even use a Wi-Fi mesh. And then you get to a point where you need your own like super low bandwidth, low frequency serial network, and they're all effectively self-aware. And you've got a pixel cloud, and then the drones move to approximate that pixel cloud, right? And they are kind of aware of where their neighbors are and aware of their battery levels and things, and they can cycle in and out. So I think there's a gap between hundreds of drones up to like 300, and then thousands of drones where you see the really crazy big displays where they're much more like autonomous.
So what we had here was the Tesco own value brand of drone shows.
I mean, it's Brighton, it's not Las Vegas, is what I'm saying, right?
Well, they were very keen to make this clear at the beginning of the show as we were all sort of queuing into the seats in the cricket ground. This was the global premiere of the Christmas Carol drone show, which I think wasn't intended to be in Brighton. I think there's been some weather up north that meant that some previous shows didn't happen. So this ended up being the global premiere that we attended,
Woohoo!
which is exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, the one I saw in November was very much kind of like, instead of a fireworks display, there was sort of shapes in the sky, and that was exciting. But this was, they're going into this as the Christmas Carol. This is displaying the Christmas Carol, and like going into this, I didn't have really any idea of what to expect in terms of like how are they going to tell the story of the Christmas Carol with drones, which I was excited to sort of see how that was going to be done. I mean, Jack and Tony, did you have any kind of pre-existing idea of what was going to happen?
Well, I kind of thought they'd do what they actually did, really, just do images in the sky of clocks and whatever. The snow footprint.
So images in the sky of
absolutely
clocks,
rubbish.
that was what the Christmas Carol looked like.
I said clocks, not.
Fine.
So when you say Christmas Carol, is it Christmas Carol with Scrooge and the Three
Yeah.
Ghosts? Or-
Basically.
okay.
Well,
that is quite a tricky sounding story to tell with large objects in the sky, I would have thought.
But it was also accompanied by Matt Lucas was doing a reading of the Christmas Carol while the drone formations and drone light displays were going on. And sort of what came to me, I think today or yesterday, was what it was almost like Jackanory. There was the story
That's a
being
good way
read,
of describing it.
and there was these tableaux that the drones were sort of painting in the sky to kind of follow on the story. But it was,
some of it was very good. Some of it was a bit questionable. I was saying, what the hell is that? What could you say? What is it? I don't know.
I mean, there was times where they deliberately chose things that would be easy to display.
Yeah.
You know, but
was that the cock and balls phase of the show?
their go-to was like hearts. There was like a spinning top, I think, at one point, and then like
a spinning top and a toy soldier.
Yeah, the toy soldier was impressive though, because obviously you got to think you're not you think of like pixels of like pixel density of a screen, but when you can arrange the screen into just the shape that you need, then it means that you've got a ton of pixels. So with the toy soldier, because it's long and thin, and they all kind of like stack up, it's quite. You get you then get a lot of resolution.
So they did this nice one with snow falling, which was like, it doesn't look that impressive, but actually what was going on there is like rather than they'd have this bright white light on the drone as it was going down in that kind of snow falling type pattern, and then the light would go out on the drone and it would go hell for leather, absolutely as fast as it can back up to the top, and then light would come back on and it would slowly sort of take that snow falling pattern again. So it's like continuously falling snow in that volume with just the sound of like these slightly panicked drones round the back, sort of backstage trying to get back to the top again.
Could you hear them quite clearly?
No,
was there a drone of drones?
Yeah,
you could hear them, but the speakers were so loud that I put around the cricket pitch.
Yeah,
it was hard to hear anything.
But
bloody
loves a good PA system.
Because there was so many of them, you kind of once they started, displaying some things, you kind of felt like a bit of a downdraft because there were so many of them. Wow. Very, very familiar, like wisps of cold air.
I mean, we were outside, to be clear. This was like a cricket ground in the middle of winter.
Did you two get neck ache? Because me and Greg got neck ache. Because
No,
we were
so-
standing looking up for 45
And drinking
minutes.
alcohol at the same time.
Yeah, well, I was drinking.
I know what
Yeah,
you
knocking them back, yeah.
I'm drinking neck oil to
To alleviate the problems of neck ache, and it failed.
Yeah, lubricate.
It's not an endorsement of neck oil, is it?
Yeah, me and Jack had seats right at the top, right the highest point of the sort of seating area in the cricket ground. So we were sort of almost level with the half the display, I would say.
I think being further away was probably better as well.
Yeah, we had a good view.
I think we were too moved halfway through the show.
You two should have gone by the family meeting point.
Yeah, we wouldn't have got neck ache, but we were standing near the bar.
It's a difficult choice, isn't it? You can either stand by the bar or stand where you get a good view. That's
Exactly.
your options.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they had the snow. They had some sort of fairly abstract patterns like snowflakes and things, which is sort of what I was expecting to have there. Because like you say, if you've got a couple of hundred drones, then there's only so much you can do. But then they started doing like actual physical things, like this street
when they
lamp
rotate
and the grandfather clock.
That was quite good.
The rotation looks very cool because you can do something that's just like a picture, a 2D picture, but the rotation really adds a lot there, I think.
Yeah, they've done a swinging bell one, which was really good. I don't know if you got that, Frank.
Yeah, video of that. But yeah, the bell with the clanger moving underneath it, so it was all animated. That was
very
really good. And they had a load of lighting on the ground as well, which sort of set the scene quite nicely. And they did some kind of like almost lasers up into the sky, which helped at some points.
Have you got my photos? I did add them into the group chat.
I like your hat. We need a picture of Jack in his hat.
I think I've only got
the hat?
The videos. Unfortunately, you'll have to add them in.
Sorry.
But as well as these kind of like fairly geometric type things, they also have the characters. They did have Scrooge literally being displayed there with like animated eyebrows and like holding things and doing things. I mean, the only thing is the eyes are a bit weird.
They needed more drones.
Yeah, they needed more pixels. There's a pixel density problem there, but it still looks cool. For a local council to do it, it's impressive.
I don't even think it's sort of the number of drones, but I think there's my sort of impression of it was that there's a limitation on how close the drones can be.
Right, yeah.
And so that sort of limits kind of, you can't get a really like strong edge or anything like that, or you couldn't have like a bundle of them together doing anything. So you've got literally got this pinprick of light being the eyes, which gave a bit of a
flying circles.
Yeah, or some kind of persistence of vision display on the drone or something. Yeah, but it sort of gave it this slightly Terminator type feel to it. I thought
that just makes it cooler.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't bad. It's definitely a style.
So this is Abe Lincoln, right?
Yeah. And also you run into certain things with like if you have too many drones and you've got stuff behind it because it's transparent image, things start getting a bit muddy because like things are displaying behind it. It's like that sort of are you looking on the inside of a 2D box, a 3D box, or the outside? That sort of weird vision flip. I think they called it the Thatcher effect, didn't they?
If your audience is only on one side, I guess you can selectively turn off the pixels behind it when they're occluded. Yeah. But otherwise, you couldn't really do it if you're trying to do 360.
Yeah,
that's what they were doing a lot of the time was like having the like these characters or the tableau or whatever sort of rotate so that I think because the audience is almost like 180
Z-culling,
degrees
that's what you want, man. Z-culling, back to 3D graphics, always comes down to that.
Marley.
And the other thing that they did quite nicely was this sort of text, like where they had Bar Humbug, Marley, Merry Christmas, like that all worked quite nicely. I thought it was quite funny at the end. It was literally them landing, and there wasn't entirely a crescendo. There wasn't a like big. This is the finale. So
I was like battery sag
clapping. So there was sort of a smattering of applause. Some people had already started leaving, and it was kind of a slightly awkward ending.
Are they all landing on top of each other?
No, they're all spaced.
Yeah. I'm just curious what kind of batteries they're running. Like, what's the milliamp hour?
Apparently, they were lipos.
Yeah, they were 4S. I don't know how many milliamp hour.
Massive, I guess. Well, I guess maybe they don't need to be super massive because they're just sitting in a small space. But
crucially, did you manage to get hold of the organizing people and talk to them about it?
Well, Jack definitely.
That's the story.
Yeah, Jack refused to leave without seeing them.
Really?
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Refused to do. To the coordinators, or
you filmed me going over.
I'm not leaving this place until I talk to the drone guys.
I'm
it's like a knife.
We will find out what software they were using, what batteries they were using. Then,
I did. I got to meet the lovely Lee Thomas. and yep, they're lined up to hopefully come on in the next couple of
Sweet.
weeks.
Nice.
That's
Well done.
interesting. Because we were talking to SkyStars just a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about the growth that they're seeing, and maybe doing dedicated drones specifically for light displays. And I think we touched on some of the software where the guy said he was experimenting with Lightbrush, which was some open source drone
Skybrush.
Skybrush, yeah, that's the one.
Frank
It was
downloaded it
more about
and
it.
gave it a bit of a 1-2. I hear.
Oh yeah, try and
Yeah,
draw something with 3 tiny whoops in your bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was an experience. Like I said before the show, I think it's more that the content of the show was aimed at kids, right? It was a Jack and Norrie style reading of the Christmas Carol, and so it wasn't quite as high energy as the Cosmic Wonders, Carl Sagan-esque thing that they did at the bonfire night display that I saw. So it's a very different energy, but it was very interesting to see this as to see kind of a more of a narrative, longer format of a display. It was interesting to see kind of how they approached that and what they've done with it. I mean, it's still very technically impressive from what I saw, but it
just the fact we managed to fly these things 40 minutes doing coordinated displays, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
If you go get some seats and look at it, because you'll get neck ache. And also, I made out the shapes better looking through a woman's phone who was videoing the whole thing rather than looking up. You can see the shapes much better through a camera.
There's something very creepy about that.
Even you said you were doing the same, weren't you, Frank? You could see it.
Yeah,
we're all looking through this one woman's phone. Didn't you get suspicious?
Well, the thing is,
hold your phone up.
Everyone
was phones everywhere. Everyone was getting their phone out and taking pictures of this stuff. Oh, Jack's got the behind the scenes.
You really do appreciate the complexity of, it's only a couple of hundred, but that's
hang on, let me go.
720 drones there they had to turn on.
Really? I thought you said there was only 180.
180
in each batch.
Each batch. So
all right.
720 took off. So 180 would take off and do 15 minutes, 10 minutes, then land, and then the next 180 would take off. So there was 4 batches.
That makes sense.
What I would have liked at the end was them all to take off just for the last dregs of the battery and do something really
do a bow.
And then just bomb out and just
turn
fall
into
out
Santa
sky.
and
everyone gets a
bow
free
or something like that and spin around. I don't know.
And as far as we know, I mean, it would be nice to talk to the guys, but this is all purely GPS position, which is like a lot of faith in all your quads getting a decent signal and being able to position themselves accurately for a lot of minutes, especially when some are coming down and going up and not crashing into each other. It's pretty cool, technically.
Yeah, I'm curious if they talk to what are they talking to? There's some kind of programming obviously involved, but are they aware of the other's position and whatnot? I guess these are questions for the guys or the people who do it, but
we shall discover.
We can ask.
I've posted more images.
More.
Unfortunately,
all of this time we have.
this is all I got. The toy soldier.
So there's Tony saying, "Oh, you get a better view through the camera." No, not for all of them, clearly.
That was transforming.
Is that what it is?
Is it transforming into a dildo? It does look a bit suspicious.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that Austin Powers intro where it's like the jet's taking off? That's a giant. Johnson, get your hot dogs. I don't know if you guys know that reference, but
oh yes. But it's interesting to see them do this without, because clearly people don't want clouds of burning smoke everywhere these days, and as much as we joke about drones landing on people, like fireworks were landing on people, and sometimes there would be fire. I remember hearing about a display in Hungary where I think the city mayor insisted it happened despite high winds, and there were a lot of property fires. And I think drones are a way forward, that you can do these elaborate displays without massive amounts of fire risk and without, clouds of suffocating smoke. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the Alexandra Palace show. The Alexandra Palace show was the first one I went to since the last one I went to. In between the two of them was about 10 years where it was not banned, but like it didn't happen because it had fired into the crowd one year, and they were like, "Yeah, we're not doing this again." Mm-hmm. So it's like there is risk with fireworks that I feel like you'd get a bit more notice if drones started doing something like that.
Things.
Yeah.
It feels like it can be done very safely on drones. On that sort of situation, you had them all flying inside a field where everyone was sitting outside. So even if they failed, they'd just drop down onto the grass, presumably.
Yeah. Unlike fireworks that have a lot of unpredictable propellant stuck in them.
I want fireworks and drones.
Yeah, there we go. We've done that before, right? We've had Roman candles on drones at the air show.
Very few things can go wrong with that type of setup.
Exactly. Combine the best of both, right? That's how you get
things can go
really
wrong,
safe.
But it's one of 2 or 3 things that are going to go wrong.
It's like fireworks are mostly safe, drones are mostly safe. So if you put them together, they must be really safe, right?
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah, pretty much.
You add the safeness.
Probably just do it on top of a moving car just to make it a bit safer.
Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite enjoyable.
It's not evidence if it burns itself.
Yeah. Was it ever really unsafe if no one can find the bits?
Everything's a smoke machine if you operate it incorrectly enough.
Oh dear. But yeah, so the company, if anyone else is sort of interested in going to see one of these, so the company that did this show and the one I saw at Alexandra Palace is called Celestial Labs, and they've got sort of a few regulars, I think, sort of shows. A few shows they put on a few times anyway. So there's Cosmic Wonder, which is one I saw at Alexandra Palace, and they've done other places. There's Evolution, which I think from some pictures has a load of UFOs in it, which is entertaining. And then there's this Christmas Carol one as well.
What we'd really like to see is some kind of BTS channel that shows us how the sausage is made. That would be fascinating to see. Because the displays are all very well and good, but there's so much intricacy and complexity and technology behind them. It would be wonderful to see how that all comes together.
Yeah. But part of what I want to reveal is the magician going to want to reveal their trick though? So then someone.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if the magician's trick involved sitting configuring Autopilot for an hour and a half, I'm not sure whether people would necessarily be wanting to steal it.
I mean, if there's a world championships in Excel use, then
In my mind, you've got this piece of software and you've got this like display, and you can drag these points to it. And sometimes it will say, no, that's not going to work because these two hit each other, or this is too close. And then you have to just click on something that says adjust it or something. And it's just like that. You just drag it around, and then you say rotate, and they all rotate, and you bring them in. That's my impression of how it works. Whether it then you have all these this big computer spitting out like Wi-Fi and saying, do this now, which I guess it must control it real time, because you'd never trust it to say, okay, everybody start now and run your program, because that's going to end in disaster.
I don't know. It is exciting, but it's also why I wanted to go see another one, because I like as much as I was like awestruck by the first one I saw, I did kind of wonder, like, is it a bit like fireworks, like where you've seen one, you've seen them all almost? Was that the defaults they all come with, and there's just putting them in different orders?
Well, no, just pressing the demo button, you mean? Well, they just
exactly
hitting the demo button on the keyboard and stepping back.
I think there's a well record.
Wow moment, isn't it?
isn't there? China have done how many thousand? Was it a couple of thousand or 1,000 at one time, or 10,000? I can't remember.
Oh wow!
They've done a
Did
lot.
they do the one with the dragon that's rotating around this building? This great big Chinese dragon just rotating around this massive skyscraper, which looks very impressive.
That looks really good. So, do you think we'll get any New Year's Eve, London, or anything like that?
I'm sure
Almost
there will be.
certainly. I would have
I think
thought.
you're going to start because you used to be able to walk up Parliament Hill and see the fireworks displays going off, right? And I think increasingly you're going to walk up whatever hill it is overlooks London. You're going to be looking at drone displays instead of firework displays.
Yeah, maybe that's what's going on in New Jersey.
That's what's going to be fun. Instead of people flying their FPV drones over fireworks, we can fly. I say we, not me. People can fly into drone shows and like, look at all these drones lined up. I'm gonna go in between them and have fun.
Hey, what they could set up
see
a
how
track
strong
in the
their
sky.
radio system is.
That's true. Virtual race gates, just big circles.
Big circles. We can
go
pack
through
it through, and then they change into something else and get smaller and smaller or something.
Power Looper drone display.
Right, let's not give people ideas.
you joke,
All right,
but
Tony, you can take that idea. No one's going to steal it. It's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
There was a Mavic taking aerial shots of the drone display that we saw.
I'd like to see
on
that
Saturday.
footage.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I did watch a drone show one time, and there were a plethora of green and red flashing DJI quads in the vicinity that were just like probably not supposed to be there, but also, I mean, yeah.
I'm one guy like freestyle just ripping around.
Zip!
Just some little firefly bead of light screaming around the Mavics.
Yeah.
But I know, like for the model jets, they quite often need.
Oh, model jets! Now you're talking.
Well, just incidentally, to make sure they don't go out of the space they're meant to be flying in, they'll station someone at each corner who can look at it and be, because it's really hard to judge distance and location of something in the sky. So they put someone at each corner of the space they're allowed to fly in. So if they say, this has gone outside of the zone from that point of view, then it's really clear. So I did wonder, like, maybe they've got like Mavics up there being like marking the corners and seeing if anything starts wandering off to somewhere it shouldn't do.
Speaking of that style of flying, I noticed that iNav dropped a new release and they actually set up geofencing. So it actually does like a Pong style bounce so that you set up a perimeter, the edge that you're flying at. And when you hit the wall, which is the geofence, it'll reverse the controls as if you were the ball in Pong and you just bounce off and then take the opposite angle like you're reflected off the wall.
Wow.
So that sounds quite fun. Not an iNav user, but that does sound like fun.
That sounds slightly scary. I can imagine, like, if you're flying FPV, and all of a sudden it.
Imagine if you're flying a jet, for Christ's sake. Yeah. It's just like, toink. Just hurls you off. Ho, ho, ho.
Well, yeah, Merry Christmas.
For our audio listeners, Jack is currently displaying an image of one of the formations from the weekend of when the Ghost of Christmas Future is showing Scrooge his potential future of a coffin with R.I.P. written on the front. Which is nice.
It's a Merry Christmas coffin, Frank.
Interesting choice.
Inviting people to rip the casket.
Oh, yeah. Power loop it.
Nice. Nice.
This one's a bit more festive. How about this one?
Festive box.
Christmas present opening.
Presenting a present.
It goes to Christmas presents.
These are all provided by Digby Dan.
Thank you, Digby Dan.
Was he there?
Yeah, he went after us.
Oh, he went to the 9 o'clock one or something.
the trees.
That is the Christmas tree.
Yes.
The other
actually
guys refused to believe there was a Christmas tree in the display. I was adamant there was a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
With falling snow.
Yeah, so I was like, what is
doesn't
that?
work so well in a picture.
How many neck holes in was this, Tony?
Oh, only one.
4.
Well, his neck was probably a bit stiff at that point still.
I wasn't looking up anymore.
He had 2. For a start, he had 2 in his hand at all time.
That's just to keep me balanced.
This is the problem. Tony had wandered underneath the display. He just sort
I was looking up through them.
of wandered onto the field. Oh, what is this? I can't make out what this is at all.
I suppose what
It's
you
good
really
evening,
want for a
though.
display
It's-
like this is to be on like tower blocks around the field, right? So you can see it at a bit of a
There
height.
was a particular block of flats behind us between the two
Yeah, we're renting it next
seating
year.
areas. That was absolutely prime viewing spot.
This
See,
one
what's
looks
that?
like a snowman taking a whiz.
It does look like someone taking a piss. Yeah. It's hard to make out.
This was Bob Cratchit and Scrooge's nephew.
What are they doing?
They're commiserating over
Oh, right.
Scrooge's grave.
Okay.
Oh,
As someone standing up, I thought there may be like there's a stream of what looks like purple wee coming out. But it could be-
Yeah. This
something
is at the point where it's turned like almost 90 degrees to the camera, displaying to the audience on the other side of the stadium. I don't think it's meant to look like that.
Mm. Either that or Bob Cratchit is kneeling down and meeting roughly at waist height with the other guy.
There's those like lasery stream lights, which were pretty cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
I've got one
impression
more.
at the time made more sense than the photo out of context.
I think the motion would probably help a great deal.
Yeah,
when you can understand the 3D shape.
Yes, look good.
Hmm.
Okay. Donut.
This was a Christmas bauble, I think. It may have been something else, but I'm deciding it's a Christmas bauble.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think. Wait here. I think. Let me see if I can find something because I saw. How do I present here? File PDF? No. Okay. Let's see. I'm pretty sure you had one like that too, didn't you, Frank?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it was. Oh, geez. Okay.
Ooh.
Those are birds. Those are crucially not drones. While the display flying may be impressive, those are
That's
birds.
a murmuration.
Oh, oops.
If you're in
find
New
it.
Jersey, those are drones. Report them immediately.
Everything's a drone out there at the moment.
Some of the videos of the drones in New Jersey are hilarious. Where like there's
What,
two
where there's a
points of
plane?
light like flying completely just in different directions from each other,
Yes.
and there's
And each
the
one
narrator
has a
being
light
like,
on it, which is flashing.
someone's being like, "Oh my god, I've never seen anything like this before." Like, what? 2 planes in the sky at the night at the same time?
Sorry, I may have just blinked and missed something, but what have the Americans done now?
What have you not heard the shite? What's going on out there?
They've
No, I
reported
try and
every
avoid it.
single thing in the
It's bad
sky
for
is a
sanity.
drone in New Jersey, and Trump is thinking about shooting them down and saying the government knows something about it.
Tell surprise. Okay.
There we go.
Battery's
That's
done.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a bulbul.
That's a better one. Did you guys manage to get together and fly as well that day?
No,
No.
it gets dark so early. I mean, Frank picked me up at R3. By the time we got to Brighton, it was pitch black dark. And it was cold.
It has gotten very cold all of a
But
sudden.
it was nice catching up with Menace and seeing these two.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot on
It's a
that
lot of
front
stuff
on
on the
Menace's.
horizon. Yeah.
Due to come out.
What?
Lots of
So
exciting
Tailspin
stuff for
says
2025.
the cops turned on their jammer and hundreds of drones just dropped. What was that referring to New Jersey or something again? What's going on?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I hope not.
this is
I'm not aware of that anyway.
I don't know. Half of the videos are probably AI made up things anyway. You never know nowadays.
I don't know. I've been seeing some of these people try out Sora stuff, and it's pretty bad. It's like comedy type stuff. What I've
Yeah.
seen so
Sora?
far.
What do you mean?
AI
the,
hologram.
That video
Oh,
AI
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
where they released like months ago when they announced it. They released like this incredible footage, but then there's loads of people saying I spent $200 to see what would happen and just typing in stuff, and it's the most laughably bad videos ever created.
And this is what Nvidia are.
I have seen some good stuff though.
They're building like 120 kilowatt rack systems for this, right? 120 kilowatts in one rack of computing equipment, which is
probably. But Google is doing their one as well, which is coming.
Yeah.
It's all coming. And I noticed actually, sorry, getting off subject, but YouTube now will ask. There was this thing saying, "Oh, we've automatically opted you out of supplying your videos for AI learning, but if you want to opt into it, do this." Interesting.
Yeah, but no.
So
Everything is going that direction. Yeah,
it's a wonderful solution if only it can find a problem.
I mean, I didn't have a background of Santa with drones as reindeer, and in about 2 milliseconds, I had that for my background.
Yeah, so. Copyright strike much?
Well, no, because it's just been made.
Yeah, but
it's not made from nothing, Tony. It's cut and pasted essentially from other people.
Yeah, I know, but
basically,
it's different though because
what YouTube says about
Rudolph hasn't got a red nose; he's got red ears.
I think those are his eyes.
I think it's a llama and not a reindeer. Also, Rudolph doesn't appear to have a face.
I don't know what is going on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely the moon. I can work that one out.
Santa's flying a bicopter, and well, so is Rudolph. Rudolph has a bicopter hat.
Head. Maybe hat.
Head. Maybe, yeah. It's half the Terminator, half Father Christmas. But yeah, I did a quick search, and I couldn't find anything that was actually I could actually use on the show with that correct attribution. So that's the problem. Someone else owns all this stuff.
But yeah, slightly back to the drone show stuff. So if you got kids that you want to take to an interesting Christmas Carol thing, then I would recommend that. I mean, it's Celestial Labs is the company doing the drones, but if you want tickets to go see it, it's being ticketed through a company whose name I'm not sure how to pronounce. It's a very helpful name because it's nonsense. It's Yup. It's
Which
Y.
vowels are those? Okay.
There's a Y at the beginning, there's a P at the end, and there's 2 U's in the middle.
Europe.
I don't know how. Yup. There's a glottal stop in the middle. You reckon?
You up.
It's a silly name, but that's the company that's doing the ticketing.
Like, don't do that again. I will F you up.
yeah, there you go. So yeah, if you want to go see the Christmas Carol drone show, that's where you need to go looking for tickets. Or the other 2 shows that they do semi-regularly, Cosmic Wonder that I went to, that was amazing. That was mind-blowing. They do there's this amazing soundtrack along with it. It's got this like Carl Sagan-esque narrator talking about oneness with the universe, but cosmology and stuff.
Rather than they hand out mushrooms and stuff before?
It's you don't need it. Honestly, it's great. But yeah, they do everything from the solar system and planets and galaxies and things. But they go into there's animals and things. The butterfly flies across, and it's great. And I would highly recommend that one.
Did you sit down for that?
I was completely seated the entire time.
Yeah,
but it was quite funny because it was at the fireworks display, but it was like this drone show was up front before the fireworks. People were leaving as soon as the fireworks started. They were like, that was it. That was the show. That was what I'd come for. And yeah, that was a 5-hour round trip for me to go see that. Totally worth it to see. That was a much shorter show. It was only 10-15 minutes, but yeah, entirely worth it. Highly recommend that one.
Hello, Bob.
And then they've got this Evolution one that they did in autumn, but I don't know if they're still doing it or if they'll do any more shows. But I would definitely be up for going to see that one.
Hello, Bob.
It's a Bob.
A wild Bob appeared.
I'll put you down that side.
Did Bob get a haircut?
Regularly, yeah. Otherwise, she can't see. Her eyebrows grow out so far. They dip down over her eyes.
That's what happens when you get old.
The schnauzer problem.
Schnauzer. I haven't seen one of them. Right, I saw one the other day. Actually, you don't really see many of them.
Yeah, she's a sporty little one. She was out racing on the BMX track today, and it looked like she actually got a bit of air when she was running over some of the jumps. It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Cute.
That's cool. You're gonna have to get up with meet up with Tony, and then you're gonna have to like start some Coco versus Bob.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Coco's had a lot of training. It's going to be hard to match that pace. That's for sure.
That's really true. That's really true.
It's very quick. Very quick.
Curry, Stephen, and Cole. Have you been flying since last week?
I wanted to, but no. Things have conspired. Namely, the huge amount of mud around here. I've been out on the field every now and then, and it's particularly sticky. So
you shouldn't be flying through the mud. It doesn't do your motors any good.
No, it doesn't. It's just the landing. I hate having to wash off motors, but no. I was thinking of getting out the tiny whoops. I've got a whole bunch of gates here. We should probably get those out and make sure Bob doesn't eat them. Sure.
I've had a general problem with the proximity in date to Christmas and stuff is putting my priorities elsewhere at the moment. So no, I've got like a whoop to fly and some woods nearby to do it, but I haven't been able to do it. It is bitterly cold sometimes though, isn't it? It's even when the sun's out, when it just pops up that little bit out on the horizon and goes, oh, that was a mistake. Pops down again.
I've got some goggles and everything. I could sort of go for it, but I think I've unfortunately got to the point where I fly when it's nice to do it. I've not got that crazy FPV bug where I have to fly for like 20 hours a week.
Tony was talking about this in the pub on Saturday after the drone show. But,
I'm
how many beers was I in?
Man, I haven't been done any flying either. Like, I think once it's been like below 10 or 15 degrees, I'm like, quads are retired for the winter unless I go somewhere nice. And it's same thing for me, Steven. It's like, if I'm going to fly, I want it to be nice. I don't want to go on like a gray, ugly, poopy, cold, wet type of day because I'm like, it's just, I can't bring
I've been getting the guitar off.
About 9 months not flying then.
That's what I've been doing.
I've been doing editing though, so I'm almost caught up on edits. I think I have still like, I don't know, 8 or 10 more. I say almost caught up. That's
I did notice an interesting post that might be relevant to Curry just before the show came on air, where it looks like OpenIPC announced they're going to be releasing a flight controller with a built-in VTX.
Oh, didn't hear about that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, with a full-blown AIO with ESC on board due out some point next year. The weird thing about the post was it claimed it had an STM32 MCU and then had a picture of a GigaDevices GD32, which is definitely not supported in Betaflight. Maybe in ArduPilot, but yeah, it's definitely not Betaflight. I don't think it is an iNav either. So an odd choice. Odd hardware as ever from the OpenIPC crew. So we'll see what happens there.
Wouldn't do to be all the same.
Well, yeah. Apart from the GigaDevices ones were originally used in ESCs, and then they stopped using them because they were just really flaky. So fingers crossed, an early sample and things get better.
I see Numbskull is enjoying his Black Friday deal. Benefit of his HD0 Whoop, setting it up in Betaflight. I blew it up.
I blew it. That doesn't sound good.
Oh, no.
Did you leave it plugged in for too long when you were changing the settings and reach spectacularly high temperatures by any chance?
Oh, that is disappointing.
Always have your desk fan for doing these things.
Well, even on little words.
Yeah, man.
They just they absolutely fry because it's enough to run the VTX, and those things get really hot.
Still absolutely swear by my like 4x4 PC case fan setup that I've got here.
Oh wow, that's just a drone, right?
That's if you just reverse 2 of those, then you'd have a quad.
4 PC case fans, cable tied together in the middle, and
I want to see that fly.
Tied into the same power plug, so you just chuck it on a 12 volt, and you're good for all your screwing around with Walk Snail and DJI 03 and things.
Why don't they? When you arm the quad, why don't the VTX go up in power? Why don't you just set up 1 watt so you can see it?
It does to a point.
Sorry,
but
1 watt,
still
1 milliwatt.
Bloody hot.
When you're looking to just test, and then as soon as you flick arm, it goes back up to whatever.
They will overheat at 25 milliwatts.
It will overheat, yeah. It will absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Why can't they just drop them down to the
It will overheat on the lowest power setting, Tony. That's what we're saying. Even on the lowest power
and I'm saying design them so it's only 1 milliwatt. So you can actually just see.
It's like,
I'll let them know because they probably haven't thought of doing that. But if they take that on board and get on with it.
Exactly.
Maybe on this new 04
as soon as you
air
arm,
unit,
it's back
maybe on
up
the
to
new
25.
04 air unit, it'll have 1 milliwatt option just for Tony.
No, he's burned out an ESC by the sound of it.
An interesting thing. Someone sent me this thing with this flight controller that had a VTX power on it that you could simply turn off, which sounds like a great idea for digital stuff.
Yeah,
it's like flick it, it's off. Piss around on the ground, wait for it to get sats what you like, flick it on.
The problem
and then
there, Carrie, is
take
you've
off.
got to remember not to hit that switch when you're flying. Oh, you don't want to hit that when you're flying. Oh no!
Make it like a 2-part logical switch. You have to do this one and this one, and do that with your elbow and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like because every BEC has an enable pin, and so what they do on those is there's like a 10-volt BEC or something, and they have the enable pin, so it's like a switchable thing on the flight controller. Toggles that enable pin, so it toggles the whole BEC on and off. Not so much a problem with analog, but those digital VTXs take like maybe 10 or 15 seconds to start talking. So once you switch it off, you better be ready to wait. Sometimes spicy switch.
Yeah, that's
right.
Numbskull says he uses a 6-inch clip-on.
Oh,
Jesus.
Tony loves a 8-inch strap on.
You'd know.
Oh dear.
Oh, there we go, cozying up.
I don't want to get in between you two. I don't want to get in between you guys. Lovers quarrel.
4 minutes a day. Well, it's because you live in Tenerife, isn't it? So fair play. It's probably dry there and nice.
Yeah.
Caroline Tyler says she uses a Menace type RC switch.
Nice.
For an HD video. So it's a logical switch that won't allow you to turn off the video whilst the arm is on. That makes
Very
smart.
There you go.
I mean, I appreciate you need this now and then, but unless you're changing ESC settings, it's kind of, that doesn't seem like so big of a problem. A lot of them are on JST plugs. So for mine, I just pull out the JST plug when I'm configuring the ESC, and then I plug the JST plug in when I'm done with that, and we're off, you know.
The other situation I can imagine that sort of stuff is important is racing, right? Because you end up with
but with digital
6 people being digital racing, that's fine. I can imagine, if you got 4 or 6 people on the start line, and then someone's asking about trying to it's not quite bound properly, I've not set the ELRS rates properly, it's all doing weird things, and having to turn stuff off and turn it on again, or the timing stuff is shat the bed and is having an issue. I can imagine that being able to power off the things that get hot for a bit, well, that all
and obviously, like Caroline says, if you dunk it somewhere, that makes sense.
She says, especially good on planes. You can struggle to find a plane that's landed in tall grass, so you can turn the video off after landing. That makes sense.
Good use of the word landing there. Like that's what I meant to do. Meant to put it there in that tall grass upside down.
A nice soft tall grass, yes.
Middle of that field of corn. Yep, that's where I went out.
Hey,
I'd just
what's
like
up,
to
Tom?
say happy 6th year anniversary. It's Gatwick. I think it's today or tomorrow.
Don't forget the LDO merch. Tony Dunn Gatwick.
Tony Dunn Gatwick LDO merch, absolutely. Let'sDroneOut.com, go check that out.
And of course, we've got the DJI-04 leak as well that Numskull mentioned, where it looks like there's going to be another digital unit on the horizon where people need to worry about their power settings, because after many years of people breaking apart their units and removing all the heat sinks, DJI have decided to release a light board without all the casing and stuff. Oh, beautiful hat there, Frank.
Christmas hat.
Forgot Santa's out there.
Yeah.
Does it just come in black and white?
It comes in red.
There's a red option as well.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't just come on the hats either. There's t-shirts and all sorts. If you scroll down a bit, I think
I've got a t-shirt somewhere. I think it's in the
dog bandana, stickers,
Oh,
all
there's a
sorts.
hoodie. I might get a hoodie.
Oh, obviously the wife beat it, Tony.
I've already got that. I haven't got that one.
That's the default.
I haven't got a wife.
Tony apparel.
Well, I could wear it and beat Jack up, I suppose.
You're my wife. Beat yourself.
No comment.
That's another use for that. Yeah.
I was going to say about Gatwick. I saw that they put out a press release the other day, being like, on the 6th, as we're coming up to 6 years, just remember, everyone that gets a drone at Christmas, don't fly it at the airport. Very helpful. Good.
Yeah,
well done.
Well done.
Well done. Yeah. Don't fly it at the airport like you didn't fly it at a Gatwick.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
not flying.
Still no
drone
evidence,
Gatwick
is there at all?
can cause lots of
Just,
problems.
just honest evidence of your admission.
Well, I think the only evidence there really was that Gatwick was being sold to a potential new buyer at
That's
that point
exactly
in
the
time.
same day, yeah.
Really wanted to have slightly better terms on the deal. Coincidentally, not mentioned because they've got lots of buying power.
It's only done New Jersey.
Chemtrails, the whole thing, man.
Is that the time?
Who's watching the clock? That's funny.
No worries. Unfortunately, that is all we've got time for.
Oh, is chemtrails the secret word to stop the show? Is that?
Yeah.
It's a safe word.
Safe word. Go.
Oh, well, I guess,
massive-
wait, but sorry, Jack, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but is this the last one of the year? Or
There's
No,
one next week.
oh, this
Can
is the
you do
last one
math?
before the holidays. Okay, yes.
penultimate.
Sorry.
19 plus
Jack, my fault.
7.
Did we all get drunk?
7.
This is
No,
the
you got lost
51st episode of this year,
Ah, that makes sense.
and
Sorry
then
for interrupting. Sorry.
there'll be the 52nd. You know, there's a whole Google Docs.
I need to get Coco to growl through the
Who
microphone
reads
again,
these
as
days?
usual.
What's reading?
This has been
I know you already do
Let's
enough.
Burn Out, episode 4.
Let's burn
86.
out.
Come on. Up. Come on, we want to hear you growling.
For those
No.
who are struggling to count, it's the 19th of December.
They got rid of me.
She only growls when Tony's kissing her. I think it's like a Me Too thing. Help me.
Those ears are not bored, are they?
Help me, help me.
Ears. Look at them.
Oh,
No,
actually,
Coco
yeah,
growl
you're
if you want us
watching
to
this.
rescue you.
Oh, I'll leave you
He
alone,
made
you
that
miserable-
dog run miles.
that is a grumble.
She had
That's a
little
grumbling
nubs
dog.
instead of feet.
Yeah, what's the
She used to be a
matter?
greyhound, just worn down.
She's worn down. You know,
When he's
Graham.
exhausted, that dog. Anyway, thank you very much to all our lovely Patreons. You guys rule. You keep us going. Thank you. Another year. Not much more left to go. You've been joined by everyone's favourite Curry Kitten.
Bye.
Everyone's favourite Lord and Master, Frank.
Bye.
Everyone's favourite left-handed guitar player, Stephen.
Waiting for the sweet embrace of LDO death. Bye-bye.
Waiting for the sweet embrace of Tony so she can eat his face. Yeah, he's biting.
Interesting noise.
Bite his dick. Everyone's favourite happy Canadian.
Waiting for the warm embrace of warmth.
Yeah. And I've been Bright Star Fly. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya.
Bye, Jack.
Jack just sounds so fatal at the end of every show. I just had to make some death reference.
Did you press stop?